Hello everybody and welcome to the Kube Vanguard. This is take two. Why is it take two? Because I should take one and I didn't realize that in my recording studio I did not have the proper screen illuminated or whatever you want to call it when I was running and doing my show. So what happened? I was babbling on for a long time. It was really good. I made a few good jokes that were just spur of the moment. I can't remember what they were. And then I noticed that I was recording a black screen, okay? So this wouldn't be as interesting as it might have been now. Anyways, I'm not going to waste too much time on my follies. Today is Canada Day. We're celebrating Canada Day. It's like kind of Independence Day or Bastille Day in France. And the air was kind of bad in the morning. We've had forest fires in the north, and the smog has been horrible. And it's hit all of North America, at least the east. So today it got better, and there's supposed to be some rain. Okay, so let's get right into it because I wasted time recording. Today we're going back, of course, doing our Kasten walkthrough documentation series. And today is a really fun topic. I mean, every day is a fun topic. Today's especially fun, all right? I probably say that every time, but I'll put my glasses on and I will switch the screen. Now, why I take my glasses off is I'm trying to look like I did in my youth. No, it's because I still haven't figured out this whole reflection thing. And, you know, these little white, like it looks like UFOs flying around my glasses. I haven't paid much attention to it. I've got to do more of that, but I'm just an IT guy, so, you know. Anyways, let's stop talking and get to business. Immutable backups. Okay, why do we need them? Easy answer. Ransomware is one of them. You want your backups not to be changed. You don't want them encrypted, okay? So immutability has become a very important topic. And with Kasten, you can do it. Okay, so here's a section. They've got a whole section here in the Kasten documentation on immutability. And it goes through basically all your steps you need to take. One thing I'll point out is important, though, is it does say that when you set up the bucket, the minimum retention of the bucket when you set it up in your S3 location has to be 21 days. Okay, so that's important. You go through, read the rest of this. We're going to do it, okay? Because you know that just reading documentation is fun after you've seen it done, because then you've got some kind of like references, right? Okay, so I showed in a previous show how to set up your own local Minio, okay? You just download the binary, then you run it. I have additionally added some certs in this Windows subsystem for Linux, okay? So in my home Ubuntu folder, under .minio, I've added there is a certs folder, and I've added some certs in there, self-signed certs, so it's going to be HTTPS, right? Wonderful. Okay. So what are we going to do? We're going to create a bucket, an immutable bucket. So here I am in my local Minio. I will create bucket. I'm going to call it something which will remind me it's immutable. So I'm going to call it emu. Okay. I mean, don't call it something that you have no clue what it is, right? Important. We need to turn on versioning. We need to turn on object locking. That's what's going to make it immutable. And this is where we have to turn on retention. Okay. Now by default, it's got 180 days. I'll put it down to the minimum 21. And you want to leave it in compliance mode, okay? So that's simple. I've set up an immutable bucket. There you can see my original bucket, which has got some backups in it, and now my immutable bucket. It's going to be a tongue twister. Let's go back to Kasten now, all right? Location profiles, there they are. So I have my one location profile, which is on the same server. Now you can create multiple buckets and create multiple location profiles in your Kasten for the same Minio instance or whatever. So here I go. New profile, and this we all know, but there are going to be some differences. I will type emu, okay, to remind me, and I personally like to put the profile name to be the same as the bucket name in wherever my S3 is, simply because if I got a lot of these, it just makes it simpler, okay? So it's going to be S3 compatible. I am using the default Minio admin, okay, very bad practice, but it's a lab environment, okay? HTTPS is my endpoint, and it is the same as the other one, so 172.29, 153, 133, and port 9000. Now, important here, I'm going to skip verification because that's a self-sign. It needs to have region for immutability. So that's one of the things you're going to see in documentation. So I created the region. You can do this in Minio. If you go to Settings, and right up here you see regions. And I created this phony baloney SA CA-Toronto-East. It sounds very AWS-y. And I will put that in my region name here. And of course, the bucket name, which is emu. Okay, Looks the same? Yes, except for this. The final thing on this list is enable immutable buckets, which we're going to do, obviously. So we enable that, and then you see this little validate bucket, okay? And it's got the emu in there, because that's what we called it. And what this does, it's going to go through and check to make certain that the bucket you created, Kasten can work with as an immutable bucket. So that's very, very convenient. So you're not going to get a deformed bucket or something that doesn't work in there and then find out only when your backups start working. So I'll press that, and let's hope. And look, oh, isn't that nice? Green, 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 really quick. So it's checked it. And it says this bucket supports a 1-day protection period. The number of days the bucket's contents are guaranteed to remain unexchanged. Interesting. That's interesting. So that's, I think, part of that whole thing about how many days. I think you can change that, actually. Let me just see here. Retention's at least 21 days. This bucket supports a 1-day protection period. Okay, I'll have to look at that. I think this has changed. I think you used to be able to set this here. I don't see it now. Oh, wait, no, that's my screen. Interesting. So this is something that must have changed, I believe, because I used to set the retention, I'm almost certain, in here somewhere. There was like a slider, and it would set the retention. I don't see that anymore. Okay, so let's just save that and see what happens. Protection period 1 day. Very interesting. You know what? That's why there's the documentation, right? So let's go and take a look at the documentation. Just checking the time here on my system to make sure I'm not babbling for too long. I have tons of time. Excellent. So let's look at protection period. I was certain that there used to be a little slider there, and I didn't practice one. See, this is why you always practice beforehand. You end up not looking stupid. So here we go. The default retention period must be at least 21 days. The longer the default retention period, the longer the data protection period K10 can offer. More info below. Okay, so let's go to more info below. So they have the same validate here. There's the validation. Now look at that, production period. Here, it does have that. Now this is interesting. I'm wondering it's because I put only 21 days. I think that's what it is, see? There you go, and I am right. See, it is essential you always read documentation, but it's also essential you're able to read quickly and figure things out, which I just did. So I set minimum default retention must have 21 days, which permits 1-day protection. There's the issue. So let's go back. Now this is going to be a little testing here. I don't think we can change it. We created the bucket. Can we change it? Here we go. Let's find out. This is really fun. Let's go and mess with it. I don't think we can. I mean, what would be the point? Object lock is enabled. Okay, so I think that's what it is. So what we're going to do, we're going to create another bucket after this. That's how much fun we're going to have. All right, so that one's created. There it is. Let's go do another one. We just create buckets all day long. We'll create another one just to prove my point here. We'll call this Emu2. Let's be original. Emu2, versioning, object lock, retention, and we'll leave it 180 days, okay? Is there anything else we need there? No. There we go. Excellent. Okay, it says Emu2, all right? And then we'll look at our region again, which is the CA Toronto East. Let's go back to Kasten now and add yet another profile. Okay, it's going to be Emu2. It's going to be S3 compatible. Again, use my top secret keys and put my endpoint in there, HTTPS 72.29.133.133, and the port is 9000. We disable skipping the chain because it is a self-signed. And I'm going to put the region in. Okay, the bucket is Emu2. We're going to enable immutable. We're going to validate. And there is our slider. Okay, so that was just me not testing before doing, which is great because then you wind up finding things out and running into little interesting situations. So I set 180 now, or it's by default 180 on the Minio object lock, and now I have a choice to make this longer in Kasten. So let's just be conservative and put like 10 days or something like that, but that's where you set it. So that's what I was talking about before. Isn't that fun? I love it when things like that happen. So now we have a whole bunch of locations here. Let's just see, well, which one do we want to use? I don't know. we can go now and I can change, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to change my disaster recovery and point it to the immutable. I think I can do that. Let's go to policies. Let's go to, let's see. Oh, that would be, oh, there it is. Okay, let's just see if we can edit that disaster recovery policy and if we can send it to Emu2 since it's a longer one. Let's edit. We'll allow it. It seems to. Let's run it. Yes. Off it goes. Okay, and then we can go back to Minio and we can see what is happening. Is that bucket adding anything? From my recollection, this takes a few minutes, even after the backup's completed. It still takes some time to show up. But let's just do a refresh here and see. And let's go back to Kasten. Of course, don't want to make sure it's working. Oh, it hasn't finished yet, obviously. So there it goes. We'll wait for this to finish. And after that, we should start seeing some stuff appear in here. In fact, this is a refresh. I should be doing that, not the page refresh. Okay. It's taking a while. Watch. Oh, no, there it is. I was going to watch it fail. That would just be disaster. But no, it completes successfully. The question is, will this show up right away? Now, I don't think it does. I seem to remember that with Minio, it takes a while for the GUI to show that it's got data in it. I mean, we could go to the actual command line and take a look, but it's reporting 0 bytes. That's not true. I know because I just did a backup. Unless, of course, it's still exporting. But I think it exports right away for this. So it's gone somewhere. Might be minimal data, too. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to have some more fun. We're going to change another policy to go to Immutable. Okay? Actually, all your policies should go to Immutable. That's best practice. So the only thing is I think I deleted all these applications, so they can't do that. Let's just wait. It'll come up in a second. Of course, there's no PVC, so there's no real data. Let me just see. You know what? Let's just see if I still have any applications left. So I decided to clean my system right before. So let's get namespaces. Okay. Oh, MongoDB is still there. Guess what? I think I lied. Oh, Nginx is too. Is there anything in there? Okay, let's get our pods in Nginx. Nginx is a nice small one. Of course, MongoDB is nice too. Oh, that's going to be Nginx. Let's see what we got in there. Oh, you're trying to get. It's one of those days. It's a holiday today. I shouldn't even be doing this, right? Okay, we have something running. So guess what? We're going to quickly, we still have time? Yes. Okay, let's just create a backup then. So we will go to our unmanaged. We will find our Nginx. We will create a policy. So this is a real quick crash course on creating a policy and sending it to, we're going to export, sending it to Immutable. So we're going to export our snapshots and it's going to say which profile. We'll get a whole bunch of them. We're going to send it to Immutable too. Okay. We're going to create the policy and we are going to run it. Press the little running person there and off it goes. Okay. So this workload has a PVC, persistent volume claim. So it has a persistent volume. It has persistent data. So it should definitely send something. I think the thing with the Kasten recovery is, especially for a small test setup, you're going to have minimal amount of data in there. So it might not even show up. And we're talking bytes. Okay, so that's all finished successfully. Now it's exporting. So now, theoretically, it should be happily sending everything to immutability. Wow, it's 13 minutes in. That's going to cut it close. I mean, if it doesn't show up here, it's going to be lying, basically. We know that. Because if it exports. Okay, now it's exporting. So race against time, folks. Let's just see. I'm biting my nails. I tell you, it's 1%. We're going to have 1 minute left. Might have to show this next time. It's working as long as it doesn't, well, as long as it doesn't fail. It takes a few minutes to export. So we're running out of time. Oh my goodness, look at that, it finished. Okay, so now let's just do a refresh. This still doesn't show it. I think this lags. That's the problem. I mean, it exported it somewhere. So I think that's what the problem is. Next time, I'm going to come back and I'm going to check this again. We have 25 seconds left. Yeah, so we'll go back to our buckets. This just lags in time. It's like a week ago, that Kasten one had on like 20 megabytes, okay? So believe me, it's true. It's exported. Look, it ran successfully. It's happy. We will see it next week. All right. Happy Canada Day. See you all next week.